What's up guys? In this video I'm continuing my session breakdown series and I'm going to show you how I produced, mixed, and mastered my song Introvert Problems. I'm going to play you the original voice memo and show you how I took that and made it into the final song, so stick around to see how I did that. So the first idea I have for the song was the strumming pattern and the and while I was recording that, the rest of the melodies were kind of just flowing out, so you'll hear me kind of coming up with them on the spot. I don't really have lyrics yet, I'm just like messing around. So this part's kind of different, but I was getting like the idea. In the next voice memo, I'm starting to get lyric ideas, and you'll hear that. It's out of my control. What they say or what they think of me, there's endless possibilities, I know. And the next thing I have is basically a full layout of the song. I have the basic idea down. I'm pushing them out, cause I'm scared I'm gonna fall. So now it really sounds like the final song. I keep pushing them out, though it's out of my control. So the actual performance is kind of horrible, but you get the idea. Now let's actually jump into the session and I'll show you how I produced the song. So the first thing I knew I wanted to do was track the guitars. So I have that strumming pattern playing basically throughout the entire song. I have one in the center, one pan to the right, and one pan to the left. So those sound like this. Keep in mind this is the production session, so everything is unmixed in this. For the intro and verse 1, I just have those strumming guitars and the vocals. And in the first chorus, I add this key sound, which just adds something to the background of it. It just makes it more interesting. So another thing I wanted to do was at this moment, I really wanted to build up into the second verse. I have this, which I just took guitar plucking from later in the song and I put it here and have it get louder and louder. I have this organ swell. I have distortion on that and some chorus. I also have this pad sound. Really nice. And this piano, which I got from The Gentleman. I also have this bass, which has a tremolo on it, make it bounce from ear to ear, and it gets faster and faster. Sick. So all of that together makes a really sick build up into the second verse. And then the guitar hit, and then the second verse. In the second verse, I add this kick drum. I got that from Battery 4. And I also add some more guitars. So I have this guitar picking. That with the strum guitar sound like this. I also have this kind of bass note, but it's guitar. So all the guitars together sound like this. Sounds really full. And then the second half of the second verse, I have this kalimba hit. I also reversed it, so it like swells into it. And that kalimba, by the way, I recorded that live. Then I also have this piano, which is the Maverick, one of my favorite piano plugins by Native Instruments. And that with the kalimba hit. It's really nice. And I have this little harp thing from Hybrid Keys. So all that stuff together makes up this. Which is really simple, but it's a good bed for all the vocal layers that come later. Then we have our build up into the second chorus, which sounds like this. So for that we have this bass reverse thing. plus this brass pad. So that with the bass well. I have this reflection arp from Hybrid Keys, which I also use in Escape for Me. You'll see that in a later session breakdown, but that sounds like this. And this piano hit from The Giant, which is another Native Instruments plugin. So all those build-up elements together with the impact of the piano sound like this. So then we have the second chorus. We have some more guitar picking. Then we have Mellotron violins, which is the stock Logic Mellotron. Sounds really, really good. And I have it sidechained to the kick. So whenever the kick hits, the volume of the Mellotron ducks down. Also have our bass right here. Really nice, from Reactor 6, which is also sidechained to the kick. Then we add some stuff for the second half. We have this really tucked under electric guitar thing. It's just MIDI electric guitar from this plugin. But I thought I'd just add some rhythm. And we have this ocean pad. And that's also sidechained. Sounds really sick. We also have more piano. It's just doing like short stabs. Yeah, it's on the offbeat also. So it's not dun dun dun, it's da 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 da. Same with the guitars. Adds rhythm. And then we have this clav pulsing thingy from the Contact 8 clav thing. Pulse it using Transgate, and all of that sounds like this. So this is high note, there's the high note here. And then we just go back to the guitar. Then just guitar the rest of the way through. And then we slow down. So the instrumental is really, really simple. I knew I wanted to have a lot of vocals, so I left a lot of space for that in the instrumental. Now let's get on to the vocals. I'm switching to the mixing session because it'll just sound better if the vocals are mixed. Vocal production on this song is absolutely insane. I have around like 80 tracks of vocals, which is a lot. We have, okay, let me just start off with the lead. So the lead. Or you're finding way. And also leading into the first verse, I have this reverse vocal throw, which I just made by having like a reverb stab and reversing it. So that leads in. So set the stage. I have all of these layers. So I have the doubles, which are penned to the left and right. We have high harmony penned to the left and right. Sounds really good. We have low harmony. That was the lead. By the way, the vocal session for the song took like 8 hours. So yeah, we have this extra high harmony. So it's above the high harmony at the end. Then we also have this. So this is actually pitched down. This is the harmony pitched down. I literally just pitched it down with Vocal Transformer from Logic. And then I also have the root note of the chords. So all of that together sounds like this. Set the stage, finding way out. We just have doubles here. Less is more, and then the harmony. You're finding way down. We have our little delay throw, the down, down, down. We also have whispers in here too, somewhere. Here. Just makes it feel like really close up and intimate. As the days go by, I'll be stuck in the same place. We have this stack over here. Same place. Then we get into the chorus. We still have all of our layers from before, the high harmonies, the low harmonies. Keep pushing them out, 'cause I'm scared I'm gonna fall. But to make it even more full, I build out some of the chord. So I have the bass note here of the chord. Pushing them out, 'cause I'm scared I'm gonna fall. And third of the chord. I keep pushing them out, though it's out. Just to help fill out the stack more. So that with everything else sounds like this. Pushing them out, 'cause I'm scared I'm gonna fall. I keep pushing them. So when we get to here, we have this ooh stack. So we have, let's see, we have these, just the melody. Then we have middle harmony, which is like under it. I have a low harmony. Really nice. Then a bass note. Just the bass note of the chord. Then we also have these. That extra one is me singing really far away from the mic. That's why it sounds like that. It just adds more depth. Can I just say, the amount of work that it took to get these sounding clean, I had to do so freaking much editing and tuning and insane. I spent like hours and hours and hours working on this. So yeah, I just had to mention that this was not easy to do at all. Anyways, I have this belt thing here. And I'm kind of filtering out the highs, and then I let them off to let it kind of like expand. And I also have all the reverb from the vocals cut off here. Not a friend, they're just an asset. We have that little reverb throw over there. And by the way, figuring out the arrangement for all of this, I basically just listen through and think, where could I add something that will like make it more interesting? And I know it's bad, but it won't be the. Then I also have this. It won't be the last, yeah. So this belt. But it won't be the last, yeah. And then a harmony for that belt. Be the last, yeah. All three of those belts together sound like this. But it won't be the last, yeah. They're super like clashy, but I really like how that sounded. Last, yeah. Makes it just sound huge here. Won't be the last, yeah. We have some ad-libs here. Then we have this part. In an endless line of thoughts undenied. We have this. So if you take out a lot of like the things that make it interesting and just have the original stack, it's a lot more boring. In an endless line of the thoughts undenied. way more boring than this. And then we have the I Let It Go stack. I let it go. So nice. We have the lead one. And I let it go. And a higher one. Let it go. And then a low one. I love that chord change there. Instead of having the minor six, we switch to the major six. And then in context. And I let it go. Let me go through the ad-libs really quickly for this verse. We have the bunch of O's. So those come in here. Now we get into the second chorus, which is where the crazy stuff happens. We have our original harmony stack. Keep pushing them out, 'cause I'm scared. Plus the chord stack again. Pushing them out, 'cause I'm scared. And then we add all the extra stuff. We have our little belt over here. Pushing them out, 'cause I'm scared I'm gonna fall. I keep pushing them out, though it's out of my control. We have another little belt over here. Keep pushing them out, pushing them out. What they'll say. Of the run. They'll say. So those two belts together. Pushing them out, pushing them out. What they'll say, what they'll think, what they'll say. Though there's I love it. We have another ad-lib here. Though it's out of my control. Though it's out of my control. But that and this one kind of mesh together into like, though it's out. I love how that worked out. We also still have our whispers going. That's creepy. Anyways, we have our belt here. We have the lower one, which is just harmonizing the big one, which is sick. I'm gonna come back down to just the lead and a little ad-lib here. Very breathy. And then it's just our lead. And then one more little ad-lib. I have it panned from side to side. Vocal chain is basically the same as a lot of my other stuff. I have our EQ here, take out the lows that are unnecessary and some mids that are kind of making it like telephony and muddy. Compressor, de-esser, another compressor, we have the parallel compression going on. And then fresh air, which adds a lot of brightness without fresh air. With fresh air. And then we have our reverb bus, which is this round reverb. And then we also have some delay over here. Adds a little more like ear candy and makes it interesting. And we basically have that same vocal chain. On the doubles, there's no reverb or delay. And then on the harmonies, there's just reverb. Certain things I'll leave dry, like doubles and other stuff I'll leave dry. And then more of like the harmonies that I want to add fullness, I'll add the reverb to. The whispers, I took like all the lows and a lot of the mids out. And then took some of the harsh highs and then re-added them, basically. Another thing that I could say is that I had to make sure to take out space for the vocals. So you can see I ducked the mids on the guitars. And on the whole vocal stack, I just take out all these unnecessary lows. Just helps leave space for the bass and kick. Well, I want to show you, so the bass swell from earlier in the song, for the build up into the second verse. I basically, how I did that was, I have a filter that I open up, letting more high end on. And then I have my tremolo, which I have the rate, which is basically how fast it's bouncing back and forth between your ears, get faster and faster. That's basically it for the mixing. There's not much else to really point out. It was pretty simple for the song. Lastly, I will show you how I mastered it. So this is the mastering session for the EP. I have all of them in one session so I can make the volumes like somewhat flow into each other. I have a pretty similar mastering change for all the songs, except Daydreaming I did a little differently. I have EQ, Imager, I have the bass frequencies more mono. Then the lower mids are like right in the middle. The upper mids / highs are more stereo, and then the high end, all the crispy stuff is a little bit more stereo than just leaving it how it was. I have some dynamic EQ, just bringing these frequencies down when they pass a certain threshold, and then some more EQ just to make it brighter. Compressor, this is doing parallel compression kind of by having the mix knob down. We have a clipper here, allowing it to get louder. And then we have our maximizer, which is the limiter. And yeah, if you have any questions on anything, just leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. Thanks for watching. Peace.